I'm Grant Boxleitner, and this is Local Doctors on Call. Our topic is herbal and natural medicine, and I'm joined by Dr. Miller and Dr. Wrench. Gentlemen, welcome. Before we start, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your background and where you work, starting with you, Dr. Miller.
I am a physician of acupuncture and herbal medicine at the East West College. This is my boss. We work together.
Yes, Dr. Wrench.
Yes, I'm the Dean of Clinical Sciences at the college, and as he said, we're colleagues and we're acupuncture physicians.
A fascinating topic today. So how long have these herbs and natural medicine been around?
Well, that's like a little mini history lesson that we would need, but internationally we have a conglomeration that plants were really our first medicines, going back for Chinese medicine, 2698 BC for the Yellow Emperor. Egypt, you have Imhotep, 2500. You know the movie The Mummy, they made him to be this skeleton guy, but he was really a doctor. And then you go to ancient Greece, and ancient Greece you had Dioscorides. He wrote the Materia Medica, which is an herbal book that was used all the way up to 1600s. Let's not forget Hippocrates, 400 BC. All these heavy guys all using herbs to today.
And so this, and still being taken in very similar ways.
Yeah, well, the point of herbal medicine is not to alter the plant. We want to get the best out of it, so we may prepare it in different ways. We may char it or extract it or cook it, but it's basically leaves and twigs and berries.
Now, some people are more focused today than ever on taking these natural remedies as opposed to pharmaceuticals. When did this trend start to emerge?
Go ahead, you should hit that one with Salk and all that.
Well, I was really interested in that, and it's interesting to notice that Harvard Medical School was the #1 herbal program in the United States at the turn of the 1900s. And it was the discovery of antibiotics, Madame Curie and Pasteur, and discovering that the shift from a whole or a wellness or holistic issue to a microbial type of idea of disease occurred. And then the people making the antibiotics tried to corner the market, and herbs kind of got pushed out.
But that's almost 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, and it seems though the more people are talking about it, you see some of these things on TV, you see them in books. In the last decade, have we really seen an explosion of this?
Well, a lot more today than in the past 30 years, I'm sure. But people are better educated today. They're watching television, they're on their computers, they're on the internet, and they're seeing. And if we look again, and this is not to be an indictment of the pharmaceutical industry by any stretch, because there's a perfect place for pharmaceuticals, and there's a perfectly natural place for herbs, and there's no reason why they can't cohabitate. But it's a $329 billion a year industry, and that's just a fact. So herbs are oftentimes a more natural, less invasive approach to wellness, and they don't carry oftentimes the side effects because the body doesn't recognize them as something foreign unto itself. So a lot of times in this country we see people that are getting prescriptions written by their medical doctors or physicians, and they're unable, due to the monetary aspect, to fill the prescription. That's 1 in 5 Americans over the age of 50 that won't fill the prescription once it's written.
Can folks afford these herbal and natural remedies?
They're very, very affordable.
They are, okay. Well, what are some of the benefits to taking these herbs versus pharmaceuticals?
Well, once again, we said that herbs rarely carry a side effect. There's only 3 really fundamental precautions. Is there a dietary interaction? Is there a dangerous interaction with one herb and another herb? Some herbs blend beautifully, and there are certain herbs that are contraindicated to blending. And the third one would be, obviously, if in the event of a pregnancy or something, we want to be very, very careful in the prescription of a certain herb that may hasten delivery or something. But those are actually the big 3.
I think also what we worry about is American medicine is the best in the emergency model. If you're dying today, you're at the hospital. But when they try to apply the emergency model to the chronic case, that's where the herbal medicine really outperforms drugs. No one's going to take Coumadin away from a stroke patient, right? We don't want to do that. But we can help enhance and clean up some post-chemotherapy or post-stroke or post-diabetes treatment very effectively and in conjunction.
What would be some examples of some of these herbs that folks take? Is there a name if someone's seeking these things out? Are there general names or something familiar?
Ginseng is the most famous.
Okay.
So anyone who wants a little boost of their energy, they know ginseng's the way to go. But
right.
there's 7 or 8 different types of ginseng that you could pick. 3, there's American, there's Chinese, there's Korean, there's Russian. So you kind of have to know which one you want.
Right.
We also, I think, Grant, have to be careful when an acupuncture physician goes through their training. They're taught about herbs, and they're taught that all herbs have a flavor, a nature, an indication, a direction, a temperature. Is it warm, cold, cool, etc. And every one of and a contraindication. And every one of these things plays an important role in the prescription. Now, what we hear a lot is, I'm taking this herb, it's self-prescribed, or somebody takes it and they got good results, so they recommend that you try it. But they're not versed in the understanding of the
So it's
herb.
not one size fits all.
Oh, certainly not. And certainly if we go to the health, people say a lot, oh, it's good for me because I got it at the health food store.
Right.
Or they say it must be good for me, it's all natural. Well, so is poison ivy, but we're not going to eat a bowl of it every morning. And the other thing they'll say is it's herbal, so it's good. So we have to understand there's a proper way to prescribe these so that they work more effectively.
Right. Are they usually found in bottles, containers? I mean, for folks who aren't familiar with this concept, how do you get this stuff?
Well, it's a major industry. So I personally practice at East West College. We have a raw herbal pharmacy.
Okay.
I like to practice using sticks and twigs and leaves, putting it in a bag, you cook it at home. But compliance is always a problem because people are busy. Sometimes they need it in their purse. So we have factory-made equivalents. But the most effective and best way to tweak a formula is to have it in the raw form.
We also have herbs that come in many forms.
Okay.
In the raw form, as Dr. Miller just told
let's
you.
get
It's
into
my
that a little
favorite,
bit.
but
Well, this is one of the more powerful ways to decoct an herb, or the effect is going to be more powerful in its
Right.
raw and pure form because it's closest to natural. When we monkey around with the formula a little bit, we make it a granular herb. It's a little bit removed from the original process. Then we can make it into
And therefore less effective?
in some cases, not always. And then we can have a tincture in a liquid form, and we can go all the way to a pill form. So it's important that we understand, number one, or as Dr. Miller said, is the patient going to be compliant?
Right.
Medicine isn't always supposed to taste good. And when if we took an herbal formula, and let's say it really isn't very pleasant tasting, like when you're a kid, if you ever took castor oil, right, you pinched your nose and you toughed it
Yeah,
out.
you swallow.
But if we take an herbal formula and we say, well, it's a little bitter, let's add cherry flavoring to it, like cough syrup, it changes the nature of the product. And that's why really all medicines, if they came in liquid form, would not really be necessarily palatable. So we sweeten them up, we make them vanilla flavored and cherry and grape so that people will take them. But we also do the same thing with our food.
And so as far as herbs, and folks can check out these things at your college.
East West College is the best local place for Chinese herbs and for also nutraceuticals and standard process. We have a large selection, but there are other herbal shops to choose from as well in the area.
Now, herbal and natural medicine, are they hand in hand? Natural medicine, is that the approach, or?
I think it's a generic term that's inclusive, yeah.
Okay. Because I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a difference between herbal medicine versus natural medicine, I guess.
No, it's just
Is there a
it's
larger
wordplay.
umbrella?
We're talking about the same thing.
I
It-
think
it is pretty much the
natural
same.
medicine would be the umbrella.
Okay.
And then herbal would fall under in there.
I see. All right. Well, gentlemen, that's great. And don't go away. We're going to have more local doctors on call right after this.
Ever dream of helping people? At East West College of Natural Medicine, our massage therapy program could help you achieve your dreams. Our program combines the theory and clinical application of various types of massage treatments and modalities. You could discover a path to providing pain relief, help increase mobility, and share relaxation. Let us help you realize your dream. Call 941-355-9080 today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Wrench, Dean of Clinical Sciences at East West College of Natural Medicine in Sarasota. Our approach to wellness using Oriental and Western medicine is often referred to as complementary, alternative, integrative, or even holistic medicine. We like to think of it as simply medicine. Call East West College of Natural Medicine today to schedule your consultation or to learn more about our program of Oriental Medicine.
Welcome back to Local Doctors on Call. We've been talking about herbal and natural medicine, and Dr. Miller, you've brought some samples here of some of these natural products that you can find right here on the Suncoast. Let's talk about a few of these, starting with that box in the middle.
The box in the middle. Well, this is from Vomfos, downtown Sarasota. They specialize in high quality oils. So for essential fatty acids, for heart disease.
I see sunflower in there,
Yes, sir.
I see olive oil.
Those are excellent sources of essential fatty acid to protect your arterial circulation.
So you
And-
would take this with food, or?
Yeah, you take it instead of like high fat salad dressings, you might mix the oil with some lemon or some vinegar, and there's vinegar also in here. Vinegar and oil is a classic.
Interesting, and then what do we have here?
Well, what I try to do is show that we use raw herb, you have raw herb, you have packaged stuff, and
Okay.
then we have beauty products. And so this comes from L'Herbodario, which is a 40-year-old Italian company specializing in beauty care, and they use goji berry, which is a Chinese herb.
So this is something, how would you use it?
Well, this you'd put on your skin for beauty, or you put on your face or your feet for moisture.
All right. And then you have this bottle here.
This is what's called the Diadajo in martial art world. It's very well known for training, hard training in martial art to prevent bruising and also to heal the bruising. Diada means hits and falls.
So if you have an injury or a bruise or a contusion or something, you would apply this. How much do you use?
Well, this is in a handy spray applicator. So you spray it on and you rub it on, and the bruise will disappear.
It eases pain and...
Eases pain, reduces the bruise, will be gone. My student made this, Jessica.
Yeah, if I may,
Yes.
in Chinese, trauma medicine falls into it's called Diadayao, and it falls into two categories. And there are topical applications or internal applications that either move blood that is not moving, like when you get a bruise,
Right.
or there are the other side of that coin, the ones that stop bleeding. And so on, and these have existed for thousands of years.
And
very,
they're
very powerful.
And they're available at the college, and are these also available in the main market?
Yes, sir. This is available because we make it, and it takes a year to make it properly. So you have to have some foresight. This is made by point of origin from a farmer.
And you talked about, we're continuing to go around the table here. Tell us what this is as you...
Well, we had a professor named Dr. Leeson, and she created this bone soup kit, that's goji berry. The same berry that's in there is here, right, the red one.
So you would just take a little bit of this, or how would it work?
Well, you would put the whole thing in a large pot.
Okay.
And usually it's made with pork bones because it's designed to help a chemotherapy patient raise their blood cell count and their bone marrow replacement.
Tell them what this is, the other one.
This is an American ginseng, which is
kind of
excellent.
show the camera this. What are we looking at
So
here?
we just talked about the ginseng.
Fatigue is the biggest problem for the cancer patient, and it's very hard for them to get their energy back. And a ginseng American is the #1 for this.
What would someone pay for something like this?
This is $22,
Okay.
so it's very affordable.
And then you have this little box in the front. What is that?
Well, this is Korean ginseng. So we talked about the different kinds a little while ago.
Right.
This one is specially fermented in a Korean style to make it hot. So as Dr. Wrench mentioned, you have a hot ginseng for cold type people, then you have a cool ginseng for hot type people.
How long would a box last, particularly if you prepare it? Can you get several? Can this last for months or days or?
Storage-wise, it'll last indefinitely, but
But-
this has
but
a box of 10 bags.
Okay, so 10
So it's a
times
10-day.
you can use it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Could be
now
short
would this
term.
be something you'd take daily or weekly? Or?
Depending on how much energy you need.
Mm-hmm.
It could easily replace a cup of coffee for the cold type person.
Interesting. And then lastly, you have this other item here. What is that?
Okay, this is what we call pochai wan or pochai pills.
Okay.
And if you've ever traveled out of the country or not out of the country, and you understand the term Montezuma's revenge, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you don't want to be without this. These are little bitty vials, and we were talking earlier about we carry a lot of over-the-counter things when we travel in
Right.
case we get ill on our trip. This is just a little tiny box, and within this is a little clear vial. It looks like a little bottle of red BBs.
Okay.
One would ingest all of these, and the vacation that suddenly went awry, you're back playing the tourist game, enjoying yourself.
All right.
And I don't need to say a whole lot more about that, but I think you get the drift.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we've looked at some of these products here. So can these herbs be literally taken by anyone?
Yeah.
As long as if we said at the outset, you have to be careful. Where'd you get your herbs? And who recommended that you take them? And again, just to talk about the college for a moment.
Sure.
When the students graduate from the program as acupuncture physicians, they take 4 boards, to become physicians. And honestly, the toughest one is the herbal board. It's a 4-part mechanism, and they have to study for
So
a
there's
long
a lot
period
of
time.
substance in
It's
there.
unbelievable. And so every student in school in this field of medicine dreads that day when they take the herbal boards. But this is why they're able to recommend, prescribe, and put together herbal packages for their patients
Right.
and so on, and do so correctly. So it's very, again, back to my buddy takes it, so he recommended I take it. You have to be very careful with that because herbs are medicines.
But excuse me, you don't want to ever be in a place where it's illegal to go in your backyard and nibble on a tree. But
Right.
there's a difference between that and going to somebody to treat the sick and heal disease. You need clinical experience, you need to know your stuff back and forth, and you have to have a predictable prognosis that matches a diagnosis.
Right.
And when you have those things in place, our medicine is very powerful.
So you definitely want to make sure you're careful of where this is coming from.
Yes.
All right. So when we get back to prescriptions, let's get an idea of how many prescriptions maybe the average American would take, depending on age.
Well, we've kind of become prescription dependent in this country over time, and so on the average in America, the average person over 45, I should say, is on a minimum of 4 pharmaceuticals. And again, not to hammer the prescription drug trade,
Right.
but $390 billion a year industry. And if you look at the commercials, we just see a lot of the side effects. And so what we're saying really is never not take your prescription meds.
Right.
But what we're saying is sometimes we can alter the negative effect of some of the side effects, because when a substance enters the body, and as we said at the outset, Grant, and the body recognizes this as not unlike itself, but synthetic, oftentimes the body rejects it by way of side effect. It communicates back with you that this isn't making me feel better. While it may
Right.
be doing what it's supposed to do, it carries with it a list of side effects. Herbs rarely do that unless they're incorrectly prescribed.
Interesting. And so are there mainstream or I guess more traditional doctors that would prescribe an herbal supplement, for instance? I mean, are there some crossover when we're talking about this?
Absolutely. We're seeing more today than ever before.
Well, we're calling that functional medicine, nutrigenomics. There's Linus Pauling was a great researcher in vitamins. Dr. Mark Hyman, who is he was the head medical advisor at Canyon Ranch, #1 Harvard School graduate. He sort of talks about how your genes allow you to fit into your genes. So he talks all about foods turning on and off
Yeah.
our genetic predisposition.
Interesting.
Herbs do that. Vitamins do that. There's a lot of experts that are, I'd say Mehmet Oz would be the main spokesperson for mainstream and pharmaceutical blending ideology.
And of course, he's on television
Yeah.
talking a lot about this.
I'd say he's the leading the way in that with the popular show.
Absolutely. And what are the, maybe we'll get into this in our next segment, but the most common medications prescribed in the U.S., is there a short list?
Well, if we look at prescription meds, we could say that the number 1 prescribed medication in this country is, and not surprisingly, antipsychotic medication. Next to that is heart medication, and next to that is COPD, and next to that is arthritis medicines and pain
Stuff for
relievers.
cholesterol, any of that?
That's in there with the heart medication.
Oh, okay, with the heart.
It's interesting to know because
Go
the
there.
vitamin supplements match that. The number 1 is fish oil, and so that's for your cardiovascular health. And then 2 and 3 is glucosamine chondroitin for arthritis and
Right,
joint
joint
pain.
pain.
So it's matching right along with the reasons people are sick and they're trying to self-medicate. So those are natural substances.
All right, we're going to pick up there when we come back, and don't go away because we have much more local doctors on call after the break.
Ever dream of helping people? At East West College of Natural Medicine, our massage therapy program could help you achieve your dreams. Our program combines the theory and clinical application of various types of massage treatments and modalities. You could discover a path to providing pain relief, help increase mobility, and share relaxation. Let us help you realize your dream. Call 941 355 9080 today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Wrench, Dean of Clinical Sciences at East West College of Natural Medicine in Sarasota. Our approach to wellness using Oriental and Western medicine is often referred to as complementary, alternative, integrative, or even holistic medicine. We like to think of it as simply medicine. Call East West College of Natural Medicine today to schedule your consultation or to learn more about our program of Oriental Medicine.
Welcome back, and we've been talking about herbal and natural medicines with Dr. Miller and Dr. Wrench, and I want to go into, this is an important topic because it affects so many people. Are herbs used in the treatment of some types of cancer?
So I'll touch on that for a second.
Absolutely.
The cancer would be considered like a toxic knot in the body that's accumulated for whatever reason. It could be dietary, environmental, emotional stress, and other unknown genetic predispositions. No one has a very excellent, surefire way to cure cancer.
Right.
But Chinese medicine's shown, I worked in the St. Vincent's Hospital Area Cancer Center J back in the day, and we saw a 25 to 30% relief of symptoms in people during chemotherapy just with acupuncture. And herbal medicine is shown to shrink tumor size, to make it easier for oncologists and surgeons to excise the tumor or biopsy it or get it stable enough to where they don't have to do something radical. And so while we're not saving the world from cancer, we're helping people manage the symptoms of treatment and also shrink tumors.
Certainly helping in some of the treatment regimen.
In the treatments that I've done, I can say I have shrunk tumors, I have shrunk spinal tumors, disappeared, never came back. But I'm not going to go wave a flag about that because we have to be fair to the patient expectation. So while we do hit home runs now and then,
Right.
we're like everybody else. We're managing the care as best as we can with tools we have.
That's right. And so where can you go to find out if these herbs are right for you? I think I know the answer to that.
Okay, well, certainly. Yeah, we're not going to say the Acme School of Medicine. We're going to say East West College of Natural Medicine, Grant, because that's who we are. It's what we do. And so we have on campus, as we said, in our clinic, an herbal pharmacy, a nutritional pharmacy. So we have everything we need there with a consultation and with an acupuncture physician.
So people can get a tour, they can find out what's there, and you'll find out a little
can.
bit about what your needs might be before you even approach this.
Yeah, periodically we have open houses, and you can find those on our website, which we'll give you at the end of the program.
This Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday we actually have an open house, and so where they'll get to tour the campus and tour the clinic, and they'll learn about the herbs. The important thing is that when you sit down and have a consultation with an acupuncture physician, herbs are almost invariably going to come up in the discussion or in the patient intake
Right.
as an option. And so we said before, in ancient medicine walked on two legs, acupuncture and herbs. So today there's a whole lot more to the medicine. As he said, we like to call what we do not just integrative, but intelligent medicine, because we communicate with the body in a more natural way.
Right.
Doesn't make other healing modalities mundane or outdated or ineffective. It just means that it's all what I like the term complementary. We want to know that we can work with an MD, and we can work with an Ayurvedist, or we can work with a chiropractor, or we can work with a naturopathic doctor, and so on. Old expression, many paths, one summit.
One summit, all right. So how do you know if people are qualified to prescribe herbs?
Well, again, the first thing I would ask, there's a lot of misconception about people that can read a book and go, I'm an herbalist, and so on. So you have to be very careful. The National Certification Commission on Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, which is the national governing body for acupuncture physicians in the United States of America, if you are a licensed member of NCCOAM, I think it's a safe bet that you can prescribe herbs.
And you can have folks even be asked to produce this proof of their background and education.
It's usually on their wall right behind them. You'll see it.
All right. And as far as success stories, Dr. Miller, you've obviously been in this realm.
Yes.
Anything that you can share on that front?
You know, the reason I come to work and the person I'm trying to reach, there's two questions people ask themselves about life. Who am I and what's wrong with me? Why do I have a headache? Why can't I sleep? Why are my relationships? Why aren't my life structures balanced? I have pain in my heart, and they go through a long process to discover that. And so that's a part of self-reflection that we can assist with. But I get to go to work and have the same conversation a medical doctor will have about all these disease picture. And maybe they've already had that conversation with a medical doctor, and I steal one of Hyman's jokes is that we're considered holistic doctors because the patient comes with a whole list of problems. And we're usually already after the treatment base. So sometimes we're that last stop. But I get to have that whole conversation, and then I stick little pins in their body, and that's the treatment. And that's an amazing thing to me. I love going to
you see
work.
some of these success stories play out.
Well,
daily.
that's why it's amazing, because while a doctor might prescribe a drug or a therapy for that, I just put little needles in there or give them a cup of leaves to drink, and I get very reliable results. And I mentioned, for instance, venous insufficiency is a big problem in Sarasota with open sores and with bleeding and gangrene. I reversed 2 cases of gangrene using frankincense and myrrh oil and close it up and reverse the gangrene. We have several people that have done this for reliably. That's one example.
If we might too, Grant, we should perhaps interject at this point that when we think about an herbal formula, herbal prescription, it's very important that we mention one size does not fit all, to use your term earlier, that they are specifically put together. They're tailor-made for each patient.
Yes.
And that is really the difficult part of the balancing of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, how much for each person. If this person has more heat, this person has more cold, and so on. And we have to understand a lot about, that's why an intake in Oriental medicine can last up to an hour. That's a question and answer with the patient.
So let's bring these topics full circle now. How can our society blend together the use of drugs and herbal therapies?
I think that academically, we're merging ideas, because as Harvard Medical School is now building an integrative hospital, they put out $2 million in research on how to do it. So it's happening. The thing is that what we need is to merge the type of education that we have with the type of education that they have, and have some kind of fundamental meeting of the minds, and don't shut anybody out. But we have to select the top priority, and sometimes pharmaceutical, medical doctor, surgery, that's what the top priority is, to preserve life. Then we sort of trickle down from there.
We might mention, here's a shameless plug, but the Cleveland Clinic, the famous Cleveland Clinic, has an herbal apothecary on the premises, and
excellent program.
It's headed by a graduate of East West College, so there's our cheap plug, but we're very happy to hear that. So there is an integration going on as we speak. Excellent.
And gentlemen, we're almost out of time, but where can people go to get more information about this fascinating topic and others?
How about our website?
Website is ewcollege.edu. Phone?
Or call us at 941-355-9080, East West College of Natural Medicine.
And as far as anybody with encountering certain problems can come visit your clinic, whether it's a headache or anything, are there other things that...
Absolutely.
Our consultation is an hour.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And that is going to do it for this edition of Local Doctors on Call. We'll see you next time.